Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another one with me, Miss Whitney B. So today I'm bringing you a video for the Self-Mastery series about, can't see it, feelings. So before we get into our topic, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new to the crew, don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a video. Also, guys, I love your comments. Don't forget to drop some comments about signs, symbols, synchronicities, ways in which you use tips, tricks, tools, signs, symbols, synchronicities, ways you communicate with spirit. Spirit communicates with you or source or your higher self. However you go about it, feel free to share below. Also remember that this platform, my channel, is an inclusive channel and that no shaming, no blaming, no picking at each other. Like everybody gets to be themselves. And there are many, 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 many ways home to the divine and to ourselves. And so also take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If this video isn't for you, that's totally fine. Go ahead and click right off. And if some things resonate with you and some things don't, take what does, leave what doesn't. I always invite, even if the whole video does resonate, for you to take everything with a grain of salt. Always trust your inner being. Listen to your higher self. Listen to your intuition and trust yourself. So maybe this video is for you, but you're not quite to a place where you can really, maybe get into the nitty gritty of it. That's okay. Don't judge yourself and don't push yourself. I just heard practice makes a master. Spirit is like, we want you guys to be so patient. I've got like, okay, spirit guides are coming in. So some people who are maybe watching this video or have been watching this series that I've been creating, maybe you're really worried that you're not doing the right things because all of a sudden, like I have all this anxiety rushing up my belly and my spirit guide is over here like a squirrel, telling me that like some of you guys are like squirrels, like trying to gather all this information because it's like, oh my God, I just hear like winter is coming, winter is coming. Calm down. It's okay. Winter is coming. We're in winter where I'm at right now. But metaphorically speaking, what's going to come will come. But everything you need is here in the now moment. And if you're concerned or worried about something, call on your spirit guides, call on your ancestors, call on your spirit helpers, call on any and all beings coming in the highest vibrations of love and light who would like to help be of service. And then just state your needs and be very clear about that. And so what Spirit is saying is, take some deep grounding breaths. I'm going to take a few as well. I've got a lot of energy like zinging through me right now. That's fascinating. I almost did this as a pick a card, but I decided that it would be important to talk about it as a self-mastery tool because that's what it has been for me. But I may also do a pick a card maybe on like something to do with feelings, maybe deciphering them or working with them because I'm just feeling like a lot of anxiety. And I was excited to make this video, but then when I sat down to do it, I was like, oh, interesting. I'm getting a lot of different information. And Spirit told me to just share my research, share what I've done and to not like basically worry about it. So this is me doing just that. But a lot of different things came up when I started to write about feelings because I had a certain idea in mind of what I wanted to share. And Spirit kind of sidetracked me and was like, we want you to talk about this stuff too. And so if you're catching yourself getting really anxious or worried or concerned or fearful, that's okay. Go into loving acceptance with where you're at. Hug yourself, love yourself, give to yourself. Pamper yourself with love and care and emotional intimacy and support. Taking some grounding breaths and really allowing yourself to be where you are and to be feeling what you're feeling. And so as I'm telling you that, that's literally what I'm doing. And so my encouragement to you is, it's funny because it's the topic at the very top that I wrote down is notice how you feel. And then wonder about why do you feel that? Like, what's this feeling? And so for me, I noticed right away that I have I'm working on some things with feeling feelings and big feelings, and then also sharing authentic truth with others. This is new for me, and this can be challenging for me at times. And so just noticing how I'm feeling and then allowing that and finding that so myself in this, in each moment, so good enough. What I like to do is what I was just sharing with you guys is to feel into the feeling. Okay, there's the feeling. I see you. Okay, now why are you feeling that way? Well, I'm concerned to talk about this. I'm feeling a little self-conscious about sharing this. Also, I'm feeling collectively, there's a lot of concern, and I'm feeling like some dis-ease and maybe even some anger or frustration, some tied up in knots feelings, which resonates with me. I've been working through some of those feelings myself and just really grounding into my authentic power and how powerful I am and how I'm a conscious creator, so I can always reach for the upgrade and the alignment. I can call in my guides, which I did just in that moment. And they're still talking to me about gathering information like a squirrel gathers nuts for the harvest, or to harvest for the storm, for the winter, for hibernation. And so what I'm being encouraged to share with you all, anybody joining this, watching this, is to stand still in the feeling. I know for me that can be challenging at times. When I get big feelings or feelings that make me feel uncomfortable or feelings that I don't feel comfortable with, like maybe I want to run from, or maybe make me feel vulnerable. And so what I'm learning is to not run from that and to really stand still and just to accept that, to notice it, to be objective about it, kind of observe how I'm feeling, and then to tell that feeling the truth. Well, what is the truth? Well, I'm a conscious creator. I'm actually, you see, quite powerful, and that I get to choose what I feel. And so it's okay that I'm having that feeling, but I get to choose to calibrate from there and to call in support. I call in my spirit guides to support me, to help me anchor in and feel grounded, stable, solid, safe, secure. I create my emotional stability. I create my physical stability. My connection to myself and spirit keep me safe and grounded in everything and all that I do. There's nothing to be concerned about. And as I have that conversation with myself, then I reprogram and I feel much better. And so now I'm not feeling so anxious and concerned. I'm kind of in my own little bubble and ready to talk now about our topic. And so thank you for experiencing that with me and for sharing. And then also, I encourage you to notice if this is something you do. I've been learning a lot about anxious attachment, and I have been healing anxious attachment. And I notice for myself, the more I reach for my connection to self and my connection to spirit, the safer, the more loved I feel, the more expansive I feel, the more free I feel, the easier and easier it is for me to face the illusions and to tell them the truth. I've been getting really good at that. It feels very good. It feels very powerful. I no longer feel afraid most often to be vulnerable. Yes, I still feel a little concerned or a little afraid of it at times, but that's okay. I allow that of myself. I surrender to that. I tell myself that that's okay. And that each time I take a step forward and I choose to be authentic and to show up as my best self and to show up doing the work, I win every single time. And so I've come to this understanding with myself to just accept, allow, surrender, be patient, be kind, be loving. Yes, sometimes I want to fight it. Yes, sometimes I want to argue. Yes, my ego comes up still and will be like, rude, I feel a certain way, or no, that's stupid, or, have some kind of judgment. And that's how I know it's my ego. And so I'm like, oh, hello, I'm feeling a certain type of way. And so loving myself, and instead of fighting that and being like, no, I don't want to feel that, I'm like, oh, okay. Hello, dear friend. How are you? Yes. Welcome. I love you. Thank you for showing up for me. You're showing me where my wound is, or where I can heal, where I can walk into more wholeness, where I can ask for help, where I can lean on myself for help. And so when I say ask for help, I mean, I reach out to spirit. I will also reach out to loved ones, friends, confidants, people I feel safe with. Also, I wonder to the universe just about for everything, and universe always brings me what I need. And so there's a lot of great therapists on YouTube. And so when I'm going through something, when I was facing particularly some childhood wounding and then understanding cycles being passed down through my family and like just understanding dynamics and how it worked and how it embodied, Spirit brought me these wonderful videos of these therapists, these different therapists, teachers, and spiritual teachers who had broken down the process and showed me step by step in different ways how those dynamics were happening, how I'd even built anxious attachment and how my mother had built anxious attachment and how her mother had built anxious attachment and then her mother's mother. And so I was learning because Spirit had told me that wounding is passed down through the ego. And so through each generation, wounding gets passed down through wounding. And so when the ego comes out, all that programming that's been programmed in since childhood and then through patterns and modeling and experiences, lessons that teach that person how to be that and that family cycle to be that cycle without being interrupted. Then I could see how that was happening. And so I did all of this beautiful work around boundaries and respect and kindness. And I learned about different parenting styles and the way they showed up in the world and the way different parenting styles can create different attachment styles. And then coming into loving acceptance and not going into judgment, that was huge for me when I could finally understand the cycle and go, like, I get it now. I get why my mom did that and why her mom did that and why her sisters do that and her aunts and her uncles do that and why her grandma did that. Like why all of these different, how they got passed down and what that just actually physically looks like, while also giving me my brain, I like, scientific information. I like understanding data. I like seeing, I was a sociology major, sociology and psychology major, because I love understanding, social responses, cues, how we interact with each other, how we do what we do and the different ways we do what we do when we act out all of these different versions, right? And that fascinates me. It fascinates me to so many levels. And so that knowledge really helped me to understand how that was playing out in a physical way. But I want to be clear. I asked Spirit to light the path for me, to help me see the cycles and patterns that needed to be purged. I called on Spirit to understand. About 2 years ago, when I stepped into full, Spirit is saying where I was no longer going to stop awakening. There's all these different levels of awakening. And oftentimes I know for maybe Spirit said 3 years before I went into the full awakening process, I would come awake, go to sleep, come awake, go to sleep, come awake, go to sleep. And so about 7 years ago, I started to awaken and no longer go back to sleep. And so that's when some of my gifts really started manifesting and all of that. But that's also when I really started focusing on growing myself and my knowledge. And so I took all of these classes so I could more clearly understand why things were happening the way they did. Why did that happen like that? I wanted to understand. And so those sciences gave me opportunities to learn and to look at it from different aspects and angles. And so therapists, I was actually, before I chose to go a different route, a year ago, I was studying to be a therapist. That was what I wanted to do, was be a clinical counselor. And that I had a shift in direction that it totally unexpected, but absolutely fell in love with my path. And so what I learned in all of that is that following my heart is key, because these things keep coming up and I want to face them. I want to understand them. I want to integrate them into wholeness within myself. I wanted to understand why there were these cycles and systems within my family that didn't serve us, and how they came about, so that I could then heal, right, and come into wholeness with myself, but then also reflect back how to make that change, first by being it, and then sharing back what I've gained and the knowledge that I've learned to share back out. And so it's a whole process of becoming, and one step led to the next, led to the next, led to the next. And the entire time I was turning to spirit, going, light up the path, show me the breadcrumbs, light it up like the 4th of July, make it so clear I can't miss it. Smack me in the face with it. These beautiful, for me, beautiful, right? Some people that's very aggressive, but I get tunnel vision when I get focused. And so learning how to not be attached. I had a lot of attachment, a lot of codependency going on, a lot of hiding, a lot of fear within myself. And through this learning and understanding, I started bringing these different aspects of myself into wholeness, which then allowed me to really stand in my power and take action. And that happened about 2 years ago, where I really started completing cycles and closing out all of this stuff that I'd been carrying around, all the baggage I'd been carrying around, forever since I'd learned it and picked it up. And so noticing how I felt, though, was key. And then turning to myself in spirit to anchor in something different. Because I learned I was a conscious creator. I learned that I could tell spirit what I wanted and get it if I got out of the way. And so first I had to learn, do you ask and you can receive? Then I had to learn how to get out of the way. And so it's a dance, but it all comes back to noticing what I was experiencing, how I was feeling, and being objective about it, being able to look at these things, at these feelings, and wonder about, why am I feeling this? Where is this coming from? How can I upgrade this? How can I understand this and work with it? Love myself for it, find ways to accept myself, because some of the things that I was not accepting were key fundamental parts of myself. And so through healing these generational wounds, through noticing my feelings and noticing that I wanted to create a change, because I was tired of experiencing the same patterns, that then took me to a whole nother level of looking at myself in a new way. And in the last 6 months, my ability to be objective and to be much more clear in my thinking and in my decision making, and to authentically speak my truth. Sometimes I still get scared, but I do it. I face myself, I have courage, and I have bravery. And I'm so proud. Things I've been working on, literally dreams coming true, things I've been working on for a solid 10 years. And I'm amazed. But it all came from and started with questioning why I was feeling what I was feeling. I was so dissatisfied and unhappy with my life, and I was tired of living these patterns. But I was like, well, why? Why do I feel this way? Why? Why is this happening like this? Why am I creating or I didn't understand then that I was creating. Why am I experiencing this? Why is this happening to me? Which is a whole nother issue of a mindset, right? That's a victim mindset. But I didn't understand that. And that is how I was taught to think about it. And I didn't question that until things started becoming so gross around me, so many karmic cycles, so many things that just weren't serving me. And gross, I just mean not energetically in alignment with what I was desiring to experience. And so I was just like, oh no, I've got to make a change, but I don't even know where to start. And so I turned to spirit, and I actually turned to spirit through music, because about 10 years ago, I was in a place where I'd kind of walked away from God in the religious sense. Like that's how I was raised. That's how I grew up. And yes, I was always spiritual, and I didn't always buy in to the whole Catholic, like to just religion itself, that there had to be so many rules. It never fit. It never grossed me out. But I didn't realize how I was still participating in some of that. And so I kind of went on this journey and walked away from any and all, like, at least traditional religious, like actions or rituals or ceremonies. Because I was just like, this doesn't feel like home. This doesn't serve me. And so questioning those feelings helped me to start making changes. And yes, they were step by step. They were little changes that built a solid foundation over time. 10 years later, I'm living the life I dream of. I'm the person I dreamed of being. I was having a conversation last night with my inner child, and she was just like, I love us. This is who we dreamed of being. And I'm like, I know, isn't it great? And she's just like, it's great. And so that wasn't true 2 years ago. And looking back at all the changes, that wasn't true 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was disgusted with myself. I was like, oh, who is this person? And why are you this person? And how do we not be this person anymore? And so from those feelings, that complete feeling of lack of alignment, just like, ugh, this is not it. I just kept thinking that over and over, like, this is not it. From that, a whole new me was born. And it all started with noticing how I felt. And then becoming aware and learning about how my feelings are actually communication from myself. They're signs, they're symbols, they're synchronicities, they're patterns. They're telling me about what's serving me, how my thoughts, feelings, actions, the people around me, the situations and experiences I put myself in, how they're either in alignment with me or not. And when I'm not feeling in alignment, it's because I'm not putting myself in positions that are alignment. I'm not making choices that are alignment. And so just noticing that. And yes, that's going to manifest differently for everyone. But for me, it was noticing this doesn't feel good. And then learning about shifting to what does feel good. Because you don't really need to, Spirit is saying, like, we don't really need to focus on so much why. We don't really want to focus on that. We want to focus on shifting into, they want, like, yes, focus on it enough to acknowledge it, to understand it, to surrender to it, but let it go. Don't dwell there. Don't sit there. It only takes 17 seconds to start emitting a vibration. And so if something isn't feeling good to you, the longer you sit in it, the more you emit that vibration. And so you want to shift your vibration into acceptance, into love. Love is the highest frequency. Acceptance is the highest, like one of the highest. Love and acceptance, boom, top. And so if you can shift into love and acceptance and then into gratitude, you shift that frequency very strongly. And the conflict or the little, but I see it as squiggles, like when energy is flowing really well, it's like a solid stream, right? And for me, oftentimes it shows up like like glitter. It looks like a little fluidy. It moves fluidly, but it's not like, I don't know, viscous. I don't know. I don't even know if I said that word right, but like I just heard, like, it's not like porous, like it doesn't, it's like streams, and it's thick streams of energy. And anyways, when things are in alignment, it flows very easily, and the stream is big, and it's flowing, and the particles are not too dense and not too loose. Okay. And then when we get worried or concerned or introduce fear, it starts to get all jumbled, and it starts doing like this instead of just like flowing solid and just like at a steady rate. It starts doing all of this, and it starts getting wobbly. And then depending on how long it sits there like that, you start creating from that wobbled place. And then the energy from there, you're going to start experiencing contrast and things. And so, yes, you're always going to experience contrast, but when we wobble and are not centered, when that contrast comes, it rocks us more. So that's why For me, I like to sit as solid, stable, and grounded as possible. So when contrast does come, um, it doesn't wobble me very much. And particularly, I like to ask for contrast that's fun, that's joyous, that's expansive, that ignites more wonder and curiosity, that is like another breadcrumb and just keeps expanding and expanding into more and more knowing. That's my favorite. Ties that bind, that bring everything together. Oh, I love that. I love the big picture perspectives. It gets me excited. Because I can see how energetically, like no matter where we're at and our level of awareness, we're all working on the same stuff, just looks different. And our level of conscious awareness and interaction with it is different. But how beautiful, right? It excites me. I love it. But through my feelings, did I notice these things? And so the high key focus is not the feelings, but it's your reaction or your response to the feelings. And so milk the good ones. That's the Abraham thing. I get excited about that. Milk the good ones and just enjoy them, celebrate with them, wonder about all the different ways that it can be even more expansive than that, right? And then calibrate from the contrast. If you're feeling something that doesn't feel good, acknowledge that. It's okay. It's okay. You're there. Acknowledge the feeling. Thank you, for being present for me so I can learn this lesson. Honor it, celebrate it. Yay. Thank you for being here. I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm grateful. And then let it go. And then wonder to spirit or your higher self or yourself or just in general, however it is you wonder and are curious about expansion, different new ways to experience new unknowns, dreams coming true, dreaming bigger than you've ever dreamed before, and just going into that and then milking those feelings of fun and excitement. Have fun. Yes, life can be challenging. Like that's the point. There's always going to be contrast. There's always going to be opportunities to grow. Always. That's the point. And so have fun with it. Celebrate with it. Enjoy. Because it's truly delightful. All right. That was our feelings video. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to leave any comments below about how it resonated. How do you guys work with your feelings? I love to hear about this. I love hearing new ways to notice feelings. Like the other day, one of my friends was talking about their feelings like a waterfall and like sitting on a rock and just watching them like a stream. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. What a cool way to do detachment and to just like sit in the stillness. Sitting in the stillness is one of my most favorite things, and I do it often. And so what a cool way to be objective about thoughts and feelings while being curious and interested. I love it. It's fun. And like, again, detached, not literally focused on it, but just experiencing and allowing the flow. And so it fascinated me. And it made me want to talk about this topic with you guys. And so I hope you're well. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to talking to you guys again soon.